Good day, everyone. I am Krishna Tritarika and I am the leader of Group 4. So, to begin with, as we tackle about on how to present our data and descriptive statistics, we can imagine the use of graphs. So, one type of graph is the broken line graph. This video is all about broken line graph. If you'd want to know more about it, this video is right for you. Before we formally start this video, let's know first the main objectives of it. So the first one is to know the history of broken line graph. The second is to know the definition and terms associated with it. Then the third is to know the steps in how to illustrate the broken line graph. And the fourth one is to solve some sample problems using broken line graph. And the fifth one is to know the applications of it.
Okay, now let's talk about the history of a broken line graph. The name line graph comes from a paper by Harari and Norman 1960, although Booth Whitney 1932 and Cross 1943 used the construction before this. According to Benninger and Robin 1978, Playfair was driven to this invention by a lack of data. In his atlas, he had collected a series of 34 plates about the import and export from different countries over the years, which he presented as line graphs or surface charts, line graphs shaded or tinted between abscissa and fuchsia. For the earliest line charts, it is generally credited to Francis Hauksbee, Nicolaus Samuel Prochez, Johann Heinrich Lambert, and William Playfair. Now let's move to who invented the broken line graph or the line graph. William Playfair is the one who invented the broken line graph or the line graph. William Playfair lived from September 22, 1759 to February 11, 1823. He was a Scottish engineer and political economist, served as a secret agent on behalf of Great Britain during its war with France. Remembered primarily for his innovation in the presentation of quantitative information by means of graphs and charts. He invented the time series graph or the line chart, the bar chart, and the pie chart. And when was the first broken line graph used? In a feat of astonishing innovation from 1786 to 1801, Playfair made the first known bar chart, line chart, and pie chart. Historians believe that Playfair's development of the statistical chart was a response to the surge in the availability of economic and demographic data collected by governments. At this moment, let's proceed to the definition of terms. What is broken line graph or line graph? According to William Playfair, a line graph is a type of chart which displays information as a series of data points called markers connected by a straight line segments. It is also a basic type of charts common in a fields similar to a scatter plot, except that measurement points are ordered typically by their x-axis value and joined with the straight line segments. It is often used to visualize a trend in the data over intervals of a time. A time series, thus, the line is often drawn chronologically. In these cases, they are known as run charts and used across many different fields for different purposes. They are especially helpful when it is necessary to create a graphical depiction of changes in values over time. Now, we have the origin of a broken line graph or the line graph. The vertical axis or the y-axis and the horizontal axis or the x-axis. For vertical axis, it is dependent axis because its values depend on the x-axis values. For horizontal axis, it is dependent axis because its values are not dependent on anything measured. Each axis represents a different data type and the points at which they intersect is 0, 0. The y-axis runs vertically and the x-axis runs horizontally. The last one, we have the line marker. When we say line marker, it is a line that is drawn on the chart plot and bound to some value on an axis. It is maybe used to show trend or mark an important value.
Good morning everyone, my name is Kyla Siba Cosmo and I am going to be showing on how to illustrate the given graph. First, you need to read and analyze the problem. Second, list all the information needed in making and plotting the graph. Third, make a table of values about the given data. Fourth, draw the x-axis and the y-axis on the paper and write the title of the table so it determines the purpose of the graph. Fifth, one factor is time and it goes on the horizontal line which referred as the x-axis. The other factor would subsequently go with the vertical axis which known as the y-axis. Label both axes as per their respective factors. In the problem, we can label the x-axis as a days in a week and label the y-axis as a number of burgers being sold in a day for 2 weeks. And then the last part is, with the already given data in the problem, point out the exact values in the graph and simply connect the point. Once the joints on the points, you can make a clear inference.
Hi everyone, this is Leza de Mesa and I will be explaining sample problem number 1. Sample problem number 1. A newly opened merchandise store has been highly patronized by its customers despite the lack of product awareness. Mr. Liu, the store manager, observes that there are some differences on the number of people coming in and out of the store at different times of the day. On their opening at 9 a.m., 5 people came in, and this number keeps changing along with the time interval of an hour and a half up until the store closes at 6 p.m. To practice working with a broken line graph, we'll start making and analyzing data presented on the graph. The tabular presentation of the data is depicted on the figure. So as we can see, at 9 a.m. there were 5 people in the store. At 10:30 a.m. there were 8 people. At 12 noon there were 16 people and so on. And to make it clearer for us to analyze this data, let us transform them into a graphical form. As we can see from the graph, the store is gradually getting busier from the opening time up until 1:30 p.m., wherein it is during this time that the store has the most number of customers, which is 26 people. And from the busiest time of the day, the number of people are starting to decline at the 3 p.m. mark, with a total decrease of 9 people. And the broken line continues to move downward, indicating that the number of customers are decreasing, and so at the closing time of 6 p.m., the store serves their last 12 customers.
My name is Marcelito C. Almeda for sample problem. So we can see here in this problem that John wants to monitor the total numbers of burgers being sold from Monday to Sunday for the past 2 weeks. So from Monday to Friday, the total numbers of burgers being sold is from 20 pieces to 80 pieces of burgers. And from Saturday to Sunday, the total numbers of burgers being sold from 90 pieces to 120 pieces of burgers. So, total numbers of burgers being sold from Monday to Friday is less than the total numbers from Saturday to Sunday. So now, John can determine that Saturday and Sunday is the best day to sell more burgers than Monday to Friday.
I am Michelle Tibunpilo, and I will discuss the summary. So the history of line graph can be traced back with the line graph of Harari and Norman, but it was invented by William Playfair because of the lack of data. So broken line graph is a result of an astonishing innovation from 1786 to 1801. So the broken line graph is often used to visualize a trend in data over intervals of time. So it is a time series. The line is often drawn chronologically. So the common parts of it are the x-axis, y-axis, and the line markers. So the steps in illustrating a broken graph are analyzing the problem, listing the needed information, making a table of values, drawing the x-axis, y-axis, and labeling the graph with the title considering the factors, and pointing out the exact value and connecting the points. So in solving some problems that involves a change in a certain factor in a given time, we can use the broken line graph.
So for the conclusion, this is Christian R.J. Taruga. Therefore, broken line graph is a result of an innovation made by William Playfair to aid an individual to present their data. So broken line graph is often used to visualize a trend in data with the intervals of time, which makes the line markers often drawn chronologically. So it is often used in different fields to create a graphical depiction of changes in value over time.
In a way that it can present the data variables needed distinctly. Additionally, it is a big help to foresee the results of some information that has not yet been documented. In quantitative statistical property, the application of broken line graph is particularly effective when illustrating its apportioning. Relating to a real-life situation, this is a method in conveying between the two variables correlation. It is commonly applied when there is a change that occurred whether for short or long time span. Using this type of graph helps to determine even when there is a smaller change that existed. Broken line graph is usually applied in the collection, presentation, and the analysis of numerical data. In the collection, like gathering of data, presentation is showing what the data you have gathered. Analysis is when you look for trends or patterns and make prediction. For example, is the pattern of Earth's climate changes and over time. So for the advantage, first, it can be applied when there are multiple dependent variables versus one independent variable. The next one is in terms of plotting and reading a graph. Broken line graph offers better advantage, while the disadvantage are, first, the more lines is used, the more it gets complicating to comprehend. Second is they are solely ideal for presenting data consisting of total numbers. And lastly is it is difficult to plot when there is a vast scope of data.
So before this video ends, you'd want to appreciate the sources for making this video possible. We would also want to mention our main source of music. It's this instrumental and called music. Thank you. So group our hope that you find this video informative yet entertaining. So this is now how the video ends.